Professor Sardar, who is one of the eminence in the transportation and into the maritime, which could really give us a lot of information and insights on how things could, how we can approach the skill gaps. Dr.
Thank you
Sardar.
very much, Mr. Praveen. We'll try to discuss the adopting new technologies in education and training, particularly for global maritime professionals, seafarers, and the maritime industry workers in general, and the supporting industries, in a sustainable and standardized manner to avoid skill gaps. So if we start with an introduction, I thought that it would be a good start if we can just refresh our minds about the milestones of the education. So 19th century, compulsory formal education has been spreaded. Then computer-based education, 1960s, 70s, simulation in the context of maritime training, as we all know, maritime simulators training, etc. Then we had the STCW 1978, which organized the seafarers training and certification and watchkeeping standards. Then 1980s, computers have become widespread and cheaper, so that personal computers have been common. And then we start focusing on more on the computer based education. Then 1984, it depends on different universities, but this is one of the University of Toronto in Canada delivered completely online course. So it was another milestone for the training and the way of education and training. Then expansion of internet, 1990s, especially the search engines like Google, etc. So we shifted basically from the searching from books and libraries to be able to search, be able to put the right keywords to access the information that we want through Google or other search engines. Then e-learning and massive online, open online courses, MOOCs. Then 2010 amendments of STCW, then COVID-19, and I call it online learning surge, because we have been pushed, all industry stakeholders, even the shipping companies or the companies that give specific trainings to their employees, have been pushed to deliver those trainings online, remote working, etc. So online learning surge. Then finally, the ChatGPT, as we all know, the AI ages of training. So if we have a glance, maritime industry, like all other industries, is always facing with rapid technological advancement, so that we have to ensure continuous professional development to keep with this pace, keep the global workforce, global maritime professionals, or any professionals in any other industries up to date and resilient to adapt. So we had the online trainings and, let's say, virtual reality or simulators, etc. But when we think about it, how sustainable they are, I would like to take an attention of the audience to the one point here. Not for all of you, but most of you would think, when I say sustainable way of doing things, it's mostly in our minds matched with green and referred to low carbon and energy efficient, etc., and less environmental damage. However, the sustainability, as we all know, has three pillars. And one of these pillars is social pillar, which is like actually as important as the other two pillars. And if I may narrow it, and just for the sake of presentation, narrow it down to one aspect, I would choose quality, because we are dealing with the training. So usually the sustainability is a trade-off, so to say, between quality to quantity, because we all know that in maritime industry, based on all the manpower reports in last 2 decades, the industry is always sort of supply, and we try to keep up with graduating new freshly graduated seafarers. So, current skill gaps in the maritime sector. So this was a result of the project that we accessed to more than 300 respondents in different stakeholder groups, and we try to identify the current skill gaps in technical skill gaps and social skill gaps classification. So for the onboard ones, I will not go into nitty-gritties and details. It's just I'm trying to present the one way of first started with the stakeholder analysis of the education and training and identified their needs, the gaps, the skill gaps, and then in a technical and social manner, then process these skills to develop a roadmap. And I will present the roadmap as well, but this is one example of a maritime case study. Can be extended to other domains as well. So if we have a look, one example of deck officers or deck staff, advanced navigation technical skills, emergency response, when the emergency happens, after the emergency happens, the response, cybersecurity because of the trends, and IT. And as important as technical skills, working on board is tough, as we all know. Social skill gaps, leadership, teamwork, these are emanated from the questionnaires, as well as the recent last 10 years, most predominant causal factors that lead to accidents. So marine accidents, collisions, groundings, etc. Psychological skills, because seafarers actually really suffering with the anxiety, depression sometimes, etc. So psychological readiness and skills, and how much we are doing as a training institution, or if we are a shipping company or private company, when we are giving professional development trainings, do we include them or not? In a manner that the table should be read. Communication, same as engine, slightly different. The shore staff, the shipping companies, data management, digital communication, data transfer in a secure way, cybersecurity. These are the technical gaps, and strategic thinking, negotiation ability, interpersonal skills to communicate are the ones related to social skills. For shore staff, for ports, for instance, ship-shore communication because of the language barrier sometimes, etc. And finally, the public stakeholders, maritime administrations and enforcement staff, they are usually having this technical skill gap in the area of policy making for new technologies, because we adopt the new technologies in a very fast pace. For instance, I'm sure you would agree that some of your students or employers already using AI, but there is no AI regulation at the moment. Only EU had an initiative, has a regulation on to regulate AI usage, but not regulated well. So the administrations, the policymakers struggle with making them, because new regulation means standard operating procedures, rules, regulations, penalties, everything. And the social skills gaps, policy advocacy, because even if they promulgate, then there is a resistance from the industry. That there needs to be a negotiation and policy advocacy for seamless adoption of those regulations. So if we can have a look at we analyzed those skill gaps that I just explained on the perspective of different stakeholders, and try to identify the roadmap 2025 to 2035. We can have a look at the training institutions, and all the rest of them are included in my presentation as well, but I will present them in a kind of faster manner. So if we have a look at the training institutions, identifying specific technical and social skill gaps using industry surveys and data analytics. Some of the training institutions are engaging with the industry through their industry advisory boards or executive board meetings or industry meetings or career days, etc. But some of them are not. So we have to start with identifying what the industry is needing and what they are giving in terms of feedback about our graduates. Develop the target training modules to address these skill gaps. Then integrate the soft skills and psychological readiness to the curriculum. Then 2028-30, enhance the curriculum with body of knowledge. Most of you would be familiar, but just for the ones who are not familiar, this is an initiative by IAMU, International Association of Maritime Universities, and there was a kind of reference document has been published in 2019, body of knowledge, and Bloom's taxonomy. Standardized training programs, collaboration with flag administrations or administrations, and IMO meeting documents, implementing and regulating the AI-driven personalized learning experience. Not like using the AI, but utilizing the AI. So not simply copying, pasting the task and bringing the result to the teacher as if it's produced by the student, but utilizing it and providing the students' own input as well. Regulatory update, training standards, the next step, fostering partnership with technology providers. This will help the institutions, especially on the fast pace changing the maritime simulators, training simulators. They are extremely expensive stuff, and we can have hubs for it. And one hub in one country with remote access or physical access, etc. Evaluate and revise the training strategies and promote a culture of lifelong learning. Shipping companies differently conduct regular skill assessment to their onboard and ashore staff. Provide the targeted and specific training programs focusing on cybersecurity, etc., the skill gaps that I have been mentioned before. In a midterm approach, collaborate with training institutions to align training with industry needs, or promote internal mentorship and leadership development programs as per the company's culture, because states have different culture than each other, but also different countries have different culture. So it should be perfectly tailored. So the gap analysis should be done by each stakeholder accordingly. Assess the impact of training programs and feedback to institutions, and foster a company culture of career-long recruitment. Not like a kind of, even though it can be legally on contract-based, it should blend like career-long recruitment or lifelong, let's say, recruitment, working life, till retirement. Rule makers and policy makers side, identify the policy making and sustainability skill gaps, as I did and I introduced, but it can be different for different domains. Communicate the demanded skills to institutions, because they are the trainers, and 10 years later, after they graduated from bachelor's, they will be in the administration or in the policy making chair. Foster collaboration with national, regional, and international bodies. Foster partnerships with academic institutions. Conduct regular policy reviews and update to incorporate the new technologies. Then assess the impact of training programs and feedback to the institutions. When we are addressing the skill gaps, we have to focus on identifying skill gaps and the demand through data analytics or industry feedback and continuous monitoring of workplace performance of the workers across the industries, not only in the maritime. Developing and delivering targeted training programs and continuous improvement. So if we can think in a thought-provoking way, for instance, when we are adopting online and virtual teaching, what about teaching physical fitness and swimming online? Team management, conflict resolution, crowd management, or transforming knowledge to behavior or attitude and ensuring the student's behavior has really changed. So I leave it to you. And finally, the conclusion, across the industries, we can continuously conduct the gap analysis. It starts with the gap analysis, and we usually don't do it. We wait the international initiative to come into force, STCW to be amended, to start changing. So we have to conduct continuous gap analysis instead, continuously engage with all industry stakeholders to collect their demand and feedback on our graduates or on our students who has been doing this training on board. Continuously incorporate industry demand and gap analysis results into daily practices and strategies, integrating the information to the practices. Keep the curriculum aligned with body of knowledge and Bloom's taxonomy, and communicating the information to the ordinates, let's say in maritime context, maritime administration and the IMO, to be aware and contribute to policy-making processes. And closely follow the STCW comprehensive review and revision processes. Thank you very much. I'll be very happy if there is any questions and further discussions.
Thank you, Dr. Sardar. I think it was very honored for us to understand about the maritime, the taxonomy. However, I think the questions would be posed to you. I will transfer this to Mr. Gopal.